Thank you for joining me today. My guest is Jesse Reynolds. He is a Canadian actor, MC, and award-winning comedian who is known for his work as a radio morning show personality and stand-up comedian. Jesse, thank you so much for being my guest today.
I'm happy to be here. It's been a long time coming, Amanda. I'm glad you're finally doing this.
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I'm excited too. This is new. It's exciting. I'm very bored. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I had to do something creative. I like to talk to people. But thank you for taking the time. I know you're really busy.
Hold on
And
a second. I'm sorry. I'm not going to take over this interview, but how are you going to say you're not creative when there's about 4 or 5 guitars behind you and
oh,
about 4 or 5 paintings?
yes, I find time here and there. Thank you.
Good for you.
Thank you. Yeah, I try to keep busy. But you're exceptionally busy. I've been researching you and looking up all of your accolades and the things that you do. And then I'm like, oh my goodness, like this is pretty intimidating. I mean, uh, first of all, I listen to you and Monica every morning on the
Oh,
radio.
thank
I
you.
love you guys. I feel like you guys are like the cool club, and we're all invited.
That's exactly what we go for. So thank you. I was going to say, should I say thank you or I'm sorry? But if you keep coming back, we're doing something right.
Right, exactly. No, like you guys make it so like I feel like we're already besties and I don't really know you that well, so I'm sorry if that seems weird. But you guys do that. You make everybody feel comfortable. It's relaxing. Like my kids, I'm driving them to school or whatever. I'm like, shush, shush. You guys start talking. I want to hear what you guys are talking about. Like I'm laughing with you. I feel like I'm a part of it. Is
Uh,
that natural chemistry?
Well, the chemistry is natural, but every show has sort of a brand vision and a target audience, and that's exactly what we go for. We say we want to be the cool kids in the cafeteria, but everyone's welcome, and you're going to get your hot gossip and fun stuff of the day from us, and so that's exactly what you just said.
I'm so glad. Yeah, you guys are just, I mean, you hit it off. You're funny. I mean, you guys are both kind of sassy, but you're friendly. Like it's not, it's too much. I wonder, do you guys, how much do you plan what you're going to talk about like in the morning? I always think, oh, did they come up with this like yesterday? Like,
No, no, never the day before, unless it's like a big thing. Like we just had our holiday special on where we had, Judge Judy and the Grinch and Santa Claus. And so that takes a bit more planning. But Monica and I say it's like an arranged marriage that worked. And it's rare that you find that, but it's hit and miss when they take two personalities and say, go. Sometimes it doesn't work, but for us it does. And so we'll plan out our topics. We call them breaks, talk breaks.
hmm
And then we just kind of go with it. And you listen. Sometimes it's really good, and other times it's like, what are they saying?
no, no, no. I never feel that way. I always like whatever you guys have to say. I'm always like, be quiet, kids. And like, did you have to audition for the chemistry? Like, was there a sit down read when you started?
Yeah, so it was I mean, I don't know how far you want to go back, but it's still chorus entertainment. I've only ever worked in radio for chorus.
hmm
And so when they came back to me to move to Kingston and start the show with Monica, of course they wanted us to test it out, but it was COVID, so we weren't in person. We did it over the phone. It's not the same thing.
hmm
And so the fact that we both felt good about it on the phone was a pretty good sign that maybe it would work.
That's awesome. No,
Mhm.
I was looking at your career. So you have an extensive career in entertainment, radio, theater, film, comedy. I mean, is there anything you can't do?
Sing. I
Really?
really can't think.
But weren't you in some musicals?
Yeah, but I would totally lip sync. The biggest musical I was in was Crazy for You. I played the bad guy, Lank Hawkins, bad cowboy.
Yeah.
And he only has one song where he has to sing by himself. And it was pretty horrific, but the rest I totally lip sync. Why do you think I like Britney so much?
Oh, because she can't sing either?
Hey, do
Oh,
you want to hang up?
I
She
like
could sing, or well, I don't know about now, but there was a time, Amanda, that she could
no,
sing.
no,
There
no,
you go.
no, no,
Oh, baby, baby.
no. Santa, can you hear me?
Hey,
See, I can sing.
I have been. Everybody,
Yeah,
good.
yeah, yeah. No, no. Where did your obsession with Britney Spears? Because if anybody follows you on social media, they know that
Ooh.
you have this affinity,
Mhm.
this thing with Britney,
Good
and she's
question.
kind of a hot mess. But I mean, we love her still. We love her.
We
She's
do.
been through some hard things, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it makes sense. But like, were you like a little 7-year-old Jessie,
Yeah.
baby, like,
Pretty
where did that?
much.
Yeah,
Where did it start? You're
where
wondering.
did it start?
Oh, this is a fun story.
Mm.
And just want to say, yeah, like I'm obsessed. to death with Britney, but I'm also not having my head in the sand to the point where I'm like, everything's fine. Like it's clearly not fine.
Yeah.
And I hope that she gets better. But you know, there was nothing like the Britney of the 2000s, was there? She was
Oh
on
yeah.
top of the world. So it started for me, it was in grade 6. I remember gym class
Hmm.
when Baby One More Time had just come out. And of course, you know, little young gay boy, I think I was in I was in grade 6 going into grade 7. So all the girls were obsessed with her. And so I was like, what's this about? And as soon as I saw her and
What's
saw
this
her
about?
dance, I wanted to be her. And so that's kind of where it started. But where it really took off was in my first year of high school. I was on the improv team and some of the, you know, like whose line is it anyway, like sort of games.
Mm.
So there was some where, well, we had to be a pop star or something. And of course, I picked Britney. And because I knew all the words, I could lip sync really well. And some of the older grades, I remember his name was Adam Drodge in particular, who was like, he kind of really looks like her when he does that, which is a huge compliment, right? Especially from like an older straight guy. I was like, oh my God. Because I knew how to do the like she does the eyes and the moving. And so I was able to do that. And so it was like the best compliment I ever got. And it just kind of snowballed from there. And as you know, now I'm in too deep. Even if I secretly hated her, nobody's gonna know.
Do
Which
you?
I don't.
No, no. Yeah, no, I mean, it's just, it's funny because like I was watching what she's doing and then you posted it all like it's in it. It's like you're celebrating how nuts she is.
I
Sorry.
know.
No, like I think I don't, I love her too. I grew up with her. I mean, I'm a little bit older than you. We don't have to like start
No,
saying
keep it moving.
numbers, but I don't think I'm too far off, but
I don't think so either.
yeah, but yeah, she really peaked in the early 2000s,
Too
and
bad.
I still, she's had a rough go, right?
Yeah.
She
But
had
I
to
mean,
eat
I
like
just
canned beans. Her dad only let her eat canned beans or something like that. I mean, it's
have you read the
just
book yet? Have you read the book?
no, no. Can I borrow it from you?
Yes, you can. My aunt has it right now. Aunt Kelly,
Oh,
hurry
okay,
up.
nice.
But yeah, you can because it's really like I thought I knew everything there was to know, and there's
Yeah,
things that were just shocking. Like one of them, it's not even that bad. Well, it is that bad, but like after her Vegas shows, everybody that worked on the show would go out for drinks. Oh, show's over, let's have dinner. That's how you do it in the theater. And she was told to go to her room, and they'd lock her in her room. She wasn't allowed to drink. She wasn't allowed, and they're all making money because of this one woman, right? Like
yeah.
she should be the boss.
Yeah, I
And
remember
so,
Cher was on the strip, I guess, at the same time doing like a residency somewhere, and Cher said we all knew on the strip that there was something going on with Britney. It was weird. She was like a zombie, and we were all worried about her. And it was like
mhm.
everybody then like in that area knew it, but I don't think we at the time really. I mean, she said she wasn't like flipping her hair around,
Yeah. Well,
and
remember she'd come out with those announcements and she wouldn't speak. And like that's when we were all the fans were like, what's going on? She's dead in the eyes. She
yeah,
explains in the book that was intentional because it was her only way to protest. Like, okay, if you're gonna force me to do this, I'm gonna do a terrible job.
yeah, I'm not gonna flip my hair because
Yeah.
flipping the hair was a sign that she was having fun. So.
And that's why we love there's another reason I love her. I'm a big hair flipper too.
Are you? Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's a bit of hairspray right now, but
It's beautiful.
oh, I thank you, yours too. Go Team Blonde.
It's a little tight
We are
back.
Knuff.
We are Knuff. I haven't seen the Barbie movie yet.
Were
I know. I think I'm the last person on earth who hasn't seen it.
you into Barbie when you were growing up?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Of course.
The peaches
Yeah.
and cream Barbie. I had them all.
Ooh.
Like all
See,
the.
you're not that old. If you were really old, you would have said you had the black and white bathing suit,
Oh yeah, yeah.
the
No, no,
original.
no, no. I'm not in boomer territory. I'm the last year of Gen X, so I'm like 1980. I'm
Oh yeah,
proud.
yeah.
I'm not
Well,
ashamed. I'm not
no, no,
ashamed.
no, no. No, you. I would have thought we were closer in age than that. I'm much younger.
Yeah, I think so. Thanks. But back to your accolades, I just wanted to say you've won a lot of awards. So I was going through your stuff. You're like number one podcast in Ottawa, Ottawa's Acid Tongue, Ottawa's favorite comedian, People's Choice Award for theater. You won an award as a kid doing a speech on Dracula.
Right. Oh, you did a deep dive.
So are you still like, is Halloween's your thing? Because I follow you on
Oh
social
yeah.
media, so I know. Sorry, I'm a bit of a creep, but
Well, it's the gay Christmas, so of
is it the
course
gay Christmas? Is
it
that what they
is.
call
Yeah.
it?
Oh, yeah. Of course. Come on, costumes, makeup, bit
Oh.
of naughtiness. Yeah, it's totally the gay Christmas, but that's not why. It was a family thing. Just my whole life. My parents were both into it more than they're into Halloween. They're not like we're goths or anything. We still did big Christmas, but my mom just loves dress up and stuff like that. So
And Halloween.
it's stuck. Yeah. So now it's a big deal in our family.
My youngest daughter, who's 5, just it was naturally obsessed with Halloween, like everything all year long. She always wants to dress up, and like Jack, she has like a Jack costume from the Nightmare Before Halloween or Christmas, the night before. I don't know.
Yeah, night before Christmas.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd never
Oh,
seen it.
I like her already because she thinks it's a Halloween movie, not a Christmas movie, which
Yeah,
it is.
yeah. I
Yeah.
don't know. I missed the boat on that movie. I didn't. I just anything that's made out of clay that's a moving thing.
Mm.
It's not. Mm,
You know what? I hate to admit this, but I recently rewatched it for the first time in several years, and it was like, oh,
mm.
sometimes things are better just left in nostalgia.
Yeah, I just like the posters of it. I was like,
Hmm.
well, I like Danny Elfman and all that too, but
I don't know. It had its place, but like, yeah, I don't know if you remember the show. Are You Afraid of the Dark?
yeah, yeah.
So recently, I tried watching that with a friend, and we were just like, ooh, like cringe the whole time. So we're like, let's just leave that in our memories.
In this, on the side of good nostalgia, I started rewatching Degrassi Junior High on Prime.
Oh,
And I'll actually watch it. My husband he works night shifts and the kids are in bed and I've just got like a big glass of wine. I'm like, Degrassi Junior
nice.
High. I
Is
love
that
it.
the one my good friend Snake's in? Or was he in the? No,
Is
he was in
Snake
the
your
original.
friend?
Well,
No,
he
I'm watching
directed.
the original.
Oh, but then Snake. So Snake's in that
Yeah,
one.
I know
Yeah,
Snake.
yeah.
Well, I don't know him, but that's your friend.
Well, he's my friend now. He directed Obsessed to Death, the movie I did. So he was the yeah, Stefan Brogan. Brogren.
Well,
Cool, right?
I would
I
have
know.
just, I would have just fangirled out right there.
Oh, I did a little bit. At first, I didn't because I, again, much younger. So the original Degrassi wasn't really
Yeah,
something I
you're
watched. So I didn't know he was such a big deal until my sister, who's about your age, was like, "Oh my God, he's directing the
Snake.
movie."
That's crazy. And you've
Yeah,
interviewed like other really famous people. Like I was looking, well, I love Tom Green, and I saw you sat down with him, and
yeah.
then on the radio, Chelsea Handler
Oh, there's so many,
and
but
Scott Thompson, which
Kirstie
I'm
Alley.
super jealous of. I love
Oh,
Kids in the Hall. I would have died.
how much do you want to know about each one? Because I have stories.
Scott Thompson.
Scott Thompson
Is he your
is my,
friend? Is he
well,
friendly?
kind of, but like, okay, so when I worked at Jump Radio in Ottawa, he
Yeah.
came in to record some ads, and like right away it was like, oh, the two gays, and he wanted me to help him in the voice booth, and so he right away went into this speech about how we have to stick together because when it comes to stand-up comedy, it's still a very much straight white boys club, and if you think about it, like there's no gay male comedian that's as famous as some of the others like Chris Rock or even Ellen. Like there's gay women.
Hmm.
Name a really famous gay stand-up comedian. I mean, we're getting there now. Mario Cantone. We have that really hot guy with the mustache on Instagram. I can't think of his name. Mateo Lane.
Okay.
So we're making progress. But at the time, this would have been like 2017. He was really on it about like, how the gays had to stick together because a lot of the times, and I do agree, gay men don't support gay men. We
Okay.
support women and we support things, but we don't support each other as much. It's kind of like straight girls.
Yeah.
But so he just I don't know why I just remember that big sort of rah rah speech from him, and I was on board, and we've kept in touch. We've been on a few comedy shows here and there since, but I haven't seen him in a long time.
Oh, love him. I love Buddy. Like I remember
Ah,
I was like, so this is me. I got into comedy, Monty Python, Saturday Night Live, Kids in the Hall, and I was like we're talking formative years, like an 11-year
yeah,
old girl watching Kids in the Hall. And my mom probably shouldn't have been letting me watch it, but it was a great education because that was when like being gay was so taboo. Like my grandmother owned a convenience store in Nova Scotia.
mm-hmm.
So she'd be like, hey, come over here. Look, see that guy at the end? He's a fruit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, oh, there's a gay guy. Look at him, like. And I thought it was pretty cool, like, because it was like they were only like heard about in legends and myths, these gay men, and then Kids in the Hall was on, and Scott Thompson with Buddy,
Yeah,
and I just was so obsessed. I couldn't get enough of it. And these sketches where they would dress as women, or they did their, their couples sketches with the men
yeah,
kissing men, and some of them were quite, like fondling each other.
they
And I was
were,
like,
yeah.
oh, okay.
Well, I'm like surprised. Remember when they did that reboot recently on Netflix? It didn't do very well, and I was like, well, no kidding, because like I didn't think that the comedy from back then would hold up, but when I watched it, it did. I just think that people are more accepting now, and it's sort of the same thing where it's like we don't need as many gay bars because we're welcome everywhere. So it's like you don't have to be a segmented part of the population, which in a way sucks because it made you stand out more.
Yeah, I guess I never looked at it that way, but it does seem like, I mean, I guess you're accepted everywhere, but nowadays it almost seems like it's more
Mm,
divisive in a lot of ways where everything's a little bit more like categorized too. But
that's
when
it.
you, yeah, you were just saying about like gay comedians and sticking together and stuff. I never thought of it that way because I guess that when I think about comedians, I'm not really thinking about who they want to sleep with, but that makes
Well,
sense.
thank you. You're doing it the right way. It's like my mom used to say that all she would get so angry when people like my gay friend Jesse or the gay comedian on the show. It's like, why don't you introduce anybody else with who they like to have sex with?
Yeah,
It's so weird.
it's a thing now.
It's a thing.
It's a
And even in the
thing.
job applications, right? You could check a box. I'm LGBT. Why are you asking me on a job application who I like to
Have sex
F?
with. Yeah.
Like,
It's like, hi. It's like I don't introduce myself and say like, hi, I'm Amanda. I like dick. You know,
no,
like or like
right?
no,
Yeah.
I mean no
No, but
offense. I mean I get it that some people want people to know, and if you want to do that, great. I don't feel the need. I don't know.
well, for me, I have to say, like, I really obviously leaned into it hard. And it wasn't until I did that, not like dick hard, just like, really try, because I wasn't getting booked. I wasn't getting as many comedy gigs. It wasn't until I really let the rainbow flag fly that I started getting some traction in my career. And so I'm somebody that obviously likes being silly and I don't mind that. But if I was someone that was more private, it would be very disappointing that, I had to use that part of me to get ahead.
Do you feel that you have to be more gay than you are? I don't know how to put it. Like more flamboyant to for your comedy, or is it
Comedy,
like
yes, for
I've
sure.
seen some of your stand up and like you kind of lean into that, and I don't know, like, is that something you sort of have to do to get noticed?
I've honestly found, yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's just a matter of the when I sort of met the industry is, when won that radio talent search, it was 2016, 2015. And
Hmm.
so that was around the time when it was suddenly cool to be gay. And it was like, it wasn't just okay. And then everyone would snicker behind your back. It was like actually starting to be accepted. So I think that I hit just at the right time where people were open to it.
Hmm.
But like I find now I have better comedy shows in small towns because it's almost like, oh my God, David from Schitt's Creek's here. Whereas in big cities like
Oh,
Toronto or even Ottawa or Montreal, it's so commonplace that people are kind of like, okay, show us something new.
right. You get to be the big fish in the little pond,
Yeah, or
kind
like
of.
they're just not as I was gonna say
It,
advanced. That's not the word.
common. It's not common.
Right.
It's not as
Yeah.
common to have like gay comics here as like Toronto probably is more. So,
Right. And it's just, and I do, like, you've seen some of it. I really like Buddy Cole is such a huge inspiration for my stand-up. And
hmm,
so you know what he's like. And so I lean
yeah,
into those stereotypes of being slutty and drinking. And so some of the more woke gays these days don't love that so much.
really. Eh?
Hmm.
Well, I was going to ask you about like getting flack for things and censorship, and also when you're doing your comedic personality or whatever you'd call it. I don't know. Um, do you get to sort of like for Buddy, like Scott Thompson, you get to say things that he wouldn't normally say or people wouldn't maybe listen to, but if you're in character, you've got this personality and it's okay for this person to say it.
Yeah, yeah. My former co-host Jenna in Ottawa, she would say I had something called the gay cloak of armor
Oh,
because I could say mean, bitchy, horrible things, whether it's about what someone wore on the red carpet or somebody's, hair, whatever, and nobody would blink an eye. But if she did, and she's a woman, how dare you talk about another woman that way? It's like, so we definitely get away with murder in that respect. But I find it's just an extension of like both radio and comedy are just amplified parts of my personality. It's like cartoonicized versions of parts of you.
right, right. That makes sense. That's interesting that you said that you got away with more because I was listening to some of your stuff and I was thinking, oh, that I don't think that would fly with a woman doing that.
What, like in a
Or
stand-up or podcast?
or a straight guy, any of it. Just like,
Yes.
I mean, today people are, I don't know if they're more sensitive or we just hear them more. You like, social
Hmm.
media, it's like an echo chamber, and
You're
it's
right.
like the people who are disagreeable and extroverted, and it seems like there's like a million of them, but maybe it's really like this small number and you just see them more. So like, are people more sensitive these days? Like,
I think that they are. I think that people want, we're generalizing here.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that people want to put people in a box, like you were talking about labels and things like that. And I think that whether woke or not woke, everyone's expected to choose a box to fit into, and that's just not real life.
No, no, I like to see things as like a spectrum. Like even in an argument with my husband or something, we're talking about, because some people in an argument, they'll be like, you always do this, or this is always like this, and it's like, let's
Mm.
look at it like a spectrum, like it's never on one end or the other. And
Yeah,
then like people, like, whether you whatever you identify as, like even in that category, in that community, there's different people and different spectrums of where you're at. And
yeah,
what
totally. Like, and
um
that's the thing. Sometimes with the gay thing, people are like, I have great gaydar. I can always tell if a guy's gay. Well, the guy that you can't tell that is gay, you wouldn't know because he's not acting like me wearing a Ken shirt. You know what I mean? So it's like, you just never know what somebody's interested in. And I've been very lucky that I haven't gotten a lot of flack for my persona and things like that. And I think that's because people are pretty good judges of energy and like authenticity. And so when you get to know me, or even when we talk like this, I hope you can tell I'm not a bad person. If even if I say something sassy, like I love Joan Rivers, she's one of my inspirations too, and she was horribly mean, but then you find out she donates to all these charities. She delivered food to like, homeless people, and she did all these wonderful things. And everyone that knows her says she was the kindest person ever. So it's like, I think that your energy radiates.
yeah, well, you definitely can say some bad stuff, some naughty things, because you volunteer for different things and you give back. You're like
Well,
an advocate, a volunteer for an Ottawa hospital, for like
oh yeah,
an
yeah.
advisory committee, and then an
Adjudicator, yeah. I haven't done
adjudicator.
that in a while. As far as I know, I'm still on the panel, but that was interesting because usually on-air personalities aren't included in that because we're the ones getting complained about. So it was actually a really big honor when they asked me to be part of it. And I think they wanted to prove a point, the CSBC, that they would have somebody that's a bit naughty or like a comedian, like helping them judge these things. So that felt really good to be recognized that I'm not just like a silly drunk. Like people know that it's a persona and that it's planned, and I'm a
Yeah.
professional.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's great, even though like that could be biased because you are on the air. But censorship was always an issue with, like, I remember Kids in the Hall talking about like, that censorship usually always got it wrong. Like what even the problem was, like in the Kids in the Hall, they did this skit where there was this like closet homosexual cop, and he was always trying to pick up like male prostitutes or something, and but always
Okay.
hide it because it used to be like this joke, and he was very about people not knowing that he was gay. And then he died from AIDS, and at his funeral he's in his coffin, there's like people whispering in the pews like, oh, I heard he died from AIDS, that he was gay, he died from AIDS. And then his corpse sits up and he's like, it was cancer. And
The gay cancer, maybe.
yeah, well, whatever, it just he just
That's what
even
they
his
called it.
corpse didn't want to think. And then the censorship was like, oh, this is a gay sketch, or but really it was about homophobia. And
Yeah.
it was like they got it wrong. And I find, like, I just kind of recently made a joke in a group that went completely haywire. It was a joke about
Oh
like
no.
affordability. So there's these like that we have a forest nearby, and there was these tents, and it's usually kids partying on the weekend in these forests. I call it the forest of sins,
Okay.
because it's like they all
Where is
do
it? I'm taking note.
um hey, we could have a live reporter there on a Friday
Here
night.
we
You
go.
could go in with your microphone. What's going on?
Yeah.
Anyway, and there's these tents, and I made a joke about like housing affordability, and that this was the newest listing for Amherst View, and it's like $799,000 and whatever. And then people were just like, you are the most terrible person making fun of homeless people, how dare you? And I was like, no, I didn't mean it like that, like it didn't, that wasn't even the way it was going. But it was just like, God, I feel like, you can't even when you do something nice, right, these days,
Yeah.
like no good
You're
deed
right.
goes unpunished.
That's right. But here's the thing with making fun of people. Yeah, I think everybody can be made fun of. Everything. Show me the hottest, most ripped, most rich guy in the world, and I'll find something to make fun of. if you can't laugh at yourself, what are you doing? Like we all have things that can be made fun of, and we all have things that can be celebrated. And I don't like when people try to act like that's not true.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah, like I wonder, is anything off limits with comedy? Like, is there anything you
Well, yeah,
can't
I
talk
mean, for
about?
me, you mean?
Yeah, well, I'm sure you.
Well, I mean, we all have. This is why it's art. It's subjective, but like, I'm not a big fan of, like the really gross stuff. Like to me, it has to be funny. I like dark humor, but it better be funny. Like
Yeah, to
I
justify it.
can't, yeah, not just get up there and talk about dead babies because you're shocking everyone talking about dead babies. Like I don't find that funny. You
Yeah,
know, rape, like not really funny. So, but
yeah.
other than that, like I don't find there's anything off limits. But for me, I used to have a whole section of my act about with fat jokes. And because I personally think fat jokes are funny, sorry, but the world doesn't anymore. And so I had to take that whole section out because I saw the digression of they used to do really well. They slowly people stopped laughing until it was like, "Ew." And so then I was like, can't do these anymore. You
Yeah.
just have to evolve.
Yeah, Sarah Silverman said, as a comedian, if you're not looking at your material from 10 years ago and cringing, then you're not developing as a person.
I would agree with that. However, I struggle. Like, and anyone who's come to see me regularly is I have about 45 minutes to an hour of material, but usually you only perform about 20 minutes of it in a show, depending what you're doing, if you're hosting, middling, headlining. But, so I haven't really been like the type of comedian that goes and writes a new set every week or anything like that because I didn't get into this business to be a stand-up comedian. So I see myself kind of like an actor, you
Hmm.
know, pretending to be a comedian.
Oh,
So my act doesn't evolve as much as some do because I don't do it as often as some people do. But yeah, I do think of Sarah Silverman sometimes because I still do some jokes from 10 years ago, but they still work.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I think she meant more, probably the more like you said, like taking your fat bits out or
Yeah,
whatever.
right. Things like that. And I really enjoy hosting. Like obviously it's what I do. And so when you do that on a comedy show, it's a lot more interactive. I talk to the crowd, where are you from? And that leads you down different paths.
Yeah, I like the crowd work. I know Matt Rife does a lot of that. He's
Hmm.
popular these days and he gets in a lot of trouble, but I think he's
Yeah,
funny.
I do too, but holy crap, he's getting in a lot of trouble right now.
Oh yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't
And
remember what was it he did. Was it a fat joke? No.
domestic violence.
Oh,
And it wasn't even, I mean, I laughed.
I don't remember the joke.
Because it was something about going to a restaurant and the waitress in the back, or the cook, the female cook or something, had a black eye. And he just made something about, like, well, she must not be that good of a cook or something. Like,
Okay, like I think that's funny. I
am
think
I a
that's
terrible
okay.
person if I laugh?
No,
And he
like
also
see,
he made a school shooting joke too, and nobody caught on to that though. He said something about this, like, this ghost of a girl in a school that was like click click, like loading a gun.
but the reason that makes me mad is because just people don't see what he's really saying there. He's
Yeah,
making fun of the abuser.
yeah,
He's making fun of this big lug of a guy that punched his wife because she didn't cook well. It's not about
exactly.
the woman. He's
No.
making fun of the guy.
And that's the thing with the censorship about them getting it wrong. These people get offended, and the joke, like Dave Chappelle, I don't know, like the trans jokes and stuff. So, like, a lot of the stuff isn't like, it's not like making fun of the individual. It's the situation. How I can't remember what his joke was. Maybe anyway, we'll go there.
We better just, Amanda,
Let's just. I'm not
stay
siding with.
away.
Yeah, I just like I get it that a lot of times they're speaking to a situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But if you go too nuanced or you go too deep, and because people just want everything surface level, give it to me quick, give it to me right as it is. People don't want to think. But when they do, I find that they'll find most people don't have bad intentions, especially if you're a comedian getting on a stage saying, laugh at me. Like, you're not out to hurt people. Otherwise, you wouldn't be doing this.
No, exactly. It's to have a laugh.
Hmm.
Um, I was gonna say, when you're on stage, you remind me a little bit of Billy Eichner.
Okay, I
Like,
can
Billy on the
understand.
street. I feel like you could even like make that into your own kind of thing. Like, I would
Oh.
watch you going down the street.
Interesting.
Like,
I'm gonna send this clip to the powers that be at Global because that idea has been tossed around a few times actually in Kingston. They want me to kind of do something similar and go up to people and say, "Oh, what do you think about the new pier?" Or like, but we haven't been able to start it because of COVID on and off and
but
policies and things. But
but
I
like
I think that'd
you
be fun.
You with a microphone, like going
Yeah,
down the street and just like randomly as stuff happens in real time,
yeah,
or like you doing stuff, like because you do react to things and you kind of scream when you're scared. Like I think your whole,
sometimes.
well, like if you were to go into, right, if you were to do like something crazy, and then we could just watch you react. Like Bill Wilichko used to do that too, and it's hilarious. Like he's
Well,
like,
you've seen Monica drag me through a haunted house. Like things like that are so much fun.
did she do that?
She did Halloween, yeah, and this it's just basically an 8 minute video of me screaming, but people like that.
Is it a video or just audio? Because I missed
There's a
those.
video. The
Is
video.
it? Okay, okay. I
Yeah,
have to
it's
go
on the
find
radio
that.
station page. But thank you for saying that. That's awesome. That makes me feel good that that maybe is a great idea they had.
Yeah, well, I was gonna. I mean, we're kind of coming to the end here. I was gonna say what's next, and maybe something more like that, or what's coming next for you? Do you have new
Oh
things
God.
on the?
Listen, I'm just happy to be working in this business these days. I mean, you see the changes happening even here in Kingston, left and right. It feels like personalities are being cut, and so as long as I have a job, I'm happy. You know, I used to want to be a big Hollywood movie star. I don't think you could pay me enough to move to the States now, and
Mm-hmm.
so you just got to appreciate where you're at.
Well, I think you're doing great. You're so entertaining. I love tuning in every day, and I think with your acting, you got the looks, you've got the talent. So like, go for it.
Thank you.
And you're hosting or you're co-hosting, headlining, co-headlining a New Year's Eve
No,
show.
I'm the MC. Derek Seguin is the headliner from Montreal, but it's in Ottawa. And the movie you're talking about is called Obsessed to Death, and it's streaming now on Tubi. But if you can't find it, send me a message. I'll send you a link.
Awesome. So they can go see you New Year's Eve emceeing for a comedy
Yeah,
show at Yak Yaks in Ottawa. And they can watch your movie, and they can find you on jessiereynolds.ca, which is your website, and your handle on social media is If You Seek Jessie. And thank you so much for being here today. I'm so glad to talk to you. It's been a real treat.
this went too quick. You sure you
I
want to
know.
end?
I wanted to talk about Mexico. I wanted to
Oh
talk about
yeah.
your real life, love life.
Well, maybe you should start a new Zoom.
Are you down for it? I'm down. I'm
You'll
down.
have to have me back on the show then, if not.
Yeah, I will for sure if you're up for it. Yeah. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
All right.
And we're back with Jessie Reynolds for part 2 of our conversation because we're getting along so well.
Yeah, he's just that long-winded.
I'm telling you, we're just like I think I'm actually doing more of the talking. I'm gonna try to be quiet more. No, but we're getting along so well. There's still so much more we wanted to cover. So here we are with part 2. Yeah, you recently got back from a very tropical, looked very fancy
Mexico.
Mexico vacation. Did
And
you want to tell us about your vacation?
oh my God.
Or maybe we
Yeah.
should talk about your relationship status first, because that
Well,
might.
it's sort of the same thing. I mean, that's
Okay,
why
okay.
I went.
You
That
went.
was
Okay.
like, yeah. So
Do
like,
tell. Do tell.
well, first of all, I don't want to go into too much detail about Mexico because I've already made people jealous enough with all my pictures. Like my friend Emily from high school texted me this morning. She goes, "Are you still in Mexico?" She's like, "Because all your posts are confusing me, and I'm kind of getting sick of seeing it." I'm like, "Well, too bad." It was my first trip ever, Amanda, ever. I've
For,
never been on an airplane.
well, you looked really chillax in your photo. Were you nervous?
On the airplane?
Yeah.
You know what? I thought I was going to be a lot more nervous than I was. And maybe it's because I had my two military daddies with me that I felt safe, but I was not actually that nervous. I was more scared of the like, what do you not take off, but take down? What's that called?
Landing, the
Landing.
landing, the takedown.
That part was a little freaky because you kind of see the plane going like this, but my ears didn't bother me. Everyone was like, "Oh, your ears are gonna hurt." I was like, "No, they didn't really."
Well, that's good. I'm terrified to
Yeah.
fly. That's all. Like I was looking at it and I couldn't feel my legs. But I'm glad
Oh,
you looked very lovely.
they are cramped. I expected a little more leg room. So now I see what people mean when they call them sardine cans.
Yeah. Yeah.
But oh my God, we went to Puerto Vallarta. I've learned how to pronounce it properly, which is supposedly like the gay capital of Mexico. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
Yeah, so we left the resort a couple nights to go downtown. There's a whole gay district, rainbow sidewalk, everything. And I was like, go Mexico. Like, I didn't realize they were that progressive, at least in certain parts of it. But we stayed at the Hilton. So, like, top of the heap, never been treated more like a princess in my life. I'm already planning my next trip. It was a magical experience.
Now, did you purposefully plan it to go there because your partners had been there and they knew it was gay friendly?
Yeah, so they went last Christmas. And I call them boyfriend. You can say boyfriends, but I feel like
Husband.
partners is too official and stuff. I'm too young to
Okay.
have a partner. Boyfriends.
Okay. Okay.
Barbie has boyfriends,
And you've got, well, yeah, Barbie has, yeah, they're
and
your
I have Kenergy.
energy.
Sorry, you can call them no partners is the right way to say it. But when people say partners, I'm sorry if the gays are going to come at
Unofficial.
me. But yeah, and I feel like it's a business. I grew up where partner meant a business partner, so that's my default setting, and this is not business. So anyway.
Yeah, I feel like partner is, I don't know, it has this sense like we're too scared to say another word or something.
Well, I know. See, this is where I contradict myself, Amanda, because earlier I was saying things like it's like nobody's business who you have sex with, and they introduce me as the gay comedian. But then I'll turn around and say, well, no, I want you to say it's my
Hmm.
boyfriend because there is an element of pride, right? And so I don't, it's just a personal preference. That's all.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So,
Yeah.
on TV there's sister wives, but you're living brothers'
Uh,
husbands.
ah, yes,
So,
that's so
are
funny.
you guys Mormon?
No, absolutely not. That's so funny. My ex-boyfriend, who I'm still friends with, he said that brother husbands thing to me when this all started because we all know the show Sister Wives. But we laugh about that because that is honestly kind of what it's like.
Okay, I thought I made it up, so
Well, good for
but
you.
I
Well, you're
wasn't.
the second person I've ever heard.
So, just for people who are listening and they don't follow you as closely as I do, you are with two men in a
Mm-hmm.
relationship. So there's three. And
Yeah,
these two men, are they married to each other?
they are Michael and Mark. So they've been married for about 12 years,
Holy crap.
right?
They invented gay marriage.
They kind of did, but in the military, it was important to them because when you're married in the military, they go out of their way to make sure you stay together. I mean, you know how much military people have to move around. And so when you're married, it just helps you be able to have a companion move around with you.
Mhm.
And obviously, that's not why they got married, but certainly it helped at such a young age them to make that decision. And so, yeah, they've been married for a long time, but this is not a new thing for them. They have been open. I think they said about 7 years in, they sort of opened things up in the sex department.
Mhm.
But it's all new for us three because this is the first time it's sort of been more than just a hookup for them and somebody that they want to have around and I enjoy spending time with them too. And so it's kind of just a weird thing. It's been about a year and a half and we're just going with the flow and so far so good.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would have to be a situation where you just sort of like you said, go with the flow. I mean, three's an odd number. I mean, does somebody feel left out ever?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you'd have to
Me.
talk about that. You'd probably have to, like, you guys would have to be very, I would imagine, honest and transparent.
Yeah, it's taken a while. I feel like we're Mexico really helped, but I think we are in a better place more and more as time goes on. But it has been a hard adjustment for me. You know my personality. I'm not a number three, and so I want to be the main girl. And so it was very hard to me to get on board with really developing feelings for Michael, who I met first,
Hmm.
and then feeling, yeah, but you have someone that you like better than me, and like that's just not okay. Do you know who I am? Like,
Yeah.
but over time, I realized that's not the case, and I like to use a fruit analogy. Heyo, but like think of fruit, okay? You like bananas? Do you like strawberries? Do you like apples?
Yeah.
But if you're in the mood for a banana, you're not going to reach for an apple.
Right.
And so it doesn't mean you dislike apples. And so I think that's a great analogy to sort of explain this because Mark and I are very different. We're Betty and Veronica. I'm blonde, he's brunette. I'm nice, he's mean. It's like a whole thing. He would be proud I said that. But we have it's kind of a funny dynamic. We've really leaned into this whole Riverdale thing you may have noticed
Yeah, I've
because
noticed the Riverdale, yeah.
it very much is what it's like. But Betty and Veronica will hook up sometimes, but it really very much is like we're the girls that can go and gossip about Archie and then fight over him too, but in a loving way. And so it's just
Oh,
it's still new for me, and yeah, I am enjoying it, but it's I don't know where it's gonna go. It's
right.
hard too because they recently just moved out of Kingston. They moved to Pembroke. The military sent them there, so it's not that far. It's only 3 hours, but I mean it's 3 hours.
Are you
So
not you're not living with them right now?
no, not no.
Oh, I thought you guys were all in a house together.
No, I mean when they just moved in about a month or two ago, so it's been very recent. But so when they were here, I was staying there an awful lot. But I've always had my own apartment.
Oh, okay, because I thought at one point you had your apartment and you were with Lopez, and then I thought maybe
Mm.
you'd moved in, and then Lopez was
Oh,
there.
sorry, you
Oh,
brought him up. I got to shove. Look, there
oh,
he is.
he
Little
was so cute.
baby.
So
Mwah.
Lopez, for people who can't, is your Chihuahua of many, many years who recently passed,
Yeah,
and we all
yeah.
loved him.
He got so famous at the end of his life, eh? I love that. Thank you, Bill Walichka, for putting him on TV because it was Bill's idea.
Was it?
Whenever I would fill in for Monica on the Dirt on the Global News Morning Show, and Bill's like, "Bring your dog on," and I was like, "What? No, this can be distracting." But I'm so glad I did because I couldn't go anywhere without me.
Yeah.
Being so, not about me. People are like, "Where's your dog?"
Oh, yeah, and it made you, like with your edgy humor, maybe a little bit more approachable because you have this little dog or something. I don't know. Not that you're unapproachable.
No, I know. I have
Um,
RBF.
well, and then with Bill, it was so funny because Lopez didn't like Bill. And or I don't know what he would reach over and Lopez like at one time like tried to bite him.
And yeah, that's the best clip
That was
ever. And he put the
hilarious.
shark music.
Oh my God.
But Chihuahuas are notoriously one person dogs. Or like, yeah. So that's what they say. They attach to one person. That's why they're
Yeah.
not great for families. And I was his person. So it just took people a long time to warm up to him and him to them. But once you got in, you were in.
Oh. Yeah. So is he laid to rest somewhere? What
Oh,
is
this is
you have
cute that you asked.
ashes?
Well, I have him in an urn here, but we actually brought some of his ashes to Mexico because we wanted to like
No.
leave him in the homeland. Isn't that cute? I know.
In the homeland,
Because he's
Mexico.
Mexican.
Oh my God.
I know. So like, here you go. So,
Oh,
oh, I miss him so much.
back to his native land.
Yeah. But listen, he was 16, and for a
Mm.
dog, like, you wish they could live forever, but they can't. And so I feel like I beat the game.
Yeah, for sure. Because I know I was watching, like, thinking, when is this dog gonna die? Like, I mean, I knew he was old. Not that I didn't like him,
You
but I was just
bitch.
like, no, one of these days it's gonna
Yeah.
be his final appearance on the morning show because they're
Well,
just
he was
so
getting pretty
old.
rickety. Yeah, he was getting, and he was losing his mind. Like he had full blown Alzheimer's by the end, and that's what made we
Oh.
made the decision to put him down because he was like just walking into walls and spit. Like he wasn't happy anymore, and I think that was the right thing to do.
It's such a hard choice to make. I know. We had to do that before Christmas a couple years ago. We had a dog that was very old and he was so sick and he couldn't get around. And God, when it comes on you to make the call and you have to determine whether their quality of life is there or not. And
Yeah.
yeah, it's a whole thing, right?
And it's because it's day to day, and then you're like, well, this was a good day, and then, well, he'll survive one more day. It's not a matter of he can't breathe. So, yeah, it was horrific to make that decision, and but I don't feel bad about it. It was a very sad day. We had a big funeral for Lopez. My whole family was on Zoom. We did it under a beautiful tree in Brighton, Ontario. They have I highly recommend them. Brighton Pet Crematorium, I think, if you just Google that. But they do it outside. It's like it was practically a wedding. It was really nice.
That's lovely. I mean, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sorry. But
Thank you. No, it's awful.
oh,
But that's life, babe. That's why we have
yeah.
comedy, and we got to be able to laugh at those things because there's no escaping it.
Exactly. And for me, all my life, comedy was a means to cope. And it's like laugh or cry. I'd rather laugh. Right. And
Amen.
in our family, we have a bunch of women and they would just, I remember being a kid, like just mortified. They would joke about the most horrific things and be laughing. I'd be like, oh, but I get it now that I'm older. Just sometimes you just
Yeah.
kind of like, you got to cope.
You just have to appreciate it. Everyone's got a different sense of humor. And it's so funny you brought that up because Christmas just passed. And at Christmas, we decided to take a little family walk. There was some new boyfriends in the family, not just mine, but my sister's seeing a new guy. And anyways, but there's some other new characters.
Right.
And we decided to take a little family walk because there's a beautiful maple tree that we had planted in Ottawa for our mom who passed away a couple of years ago. And the city takes care of it in this public park. Anyway, there's a plaque. So my sister and I, again, back to Halloween family, we make more of a joke. So like I remember I gave the tree a hug and I said, "Oh, she's a little thinner than she was in real life." And Justine, my sister, just dies laughing, right? And then everyone else is
Oh
kind of like,
no,
"Oh
the
my
new guys.
God." Like, but I think until you go through something that horrific, and it is horrific, you get nervous to go there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
I think
you
happens.
you recently had a little visit from your mom on your holiday.
Did you see that?
I did. And that was
Ah,
her. That was
I'm getting
her.
chills.
So,
Dion, are you talking about the hummingbird or the lights?
oh, the hummingbird. I don't know about the lights. So, just do you want to tell people about the hummingbird? The
Okay, the
hummingbird.
hummingbird. So, oh my God, the first morning, remember, I've never been on any trip.
Hmm.
And my mom and I always wanted to go on a trip together. She was sick. She lived her last 2 years in the hospital. Ugh, gross. But she was a Taurus. I don't know if you're big into zodiac stuff. I am. Are you a Taurus?
Yeah.
Oh
The
dear.
28th of April.
She was April 30th. And Monica's a Taurus too. You Taurus girls are tough.
Why would
But
you Taurus women make the best ladies out there?
I well,
No, just kidding, just kidding.
some of the biggest relationships I've had in my life have been Taurus women, and I appreciate them very much.
We're
But
grounded.
you're and stubborn as hell.
Hmm.
And so that was something that my mom was very much like, I'm getting out of the hospital, like even when because she was terminal, she had rheumatoid arthritis, and for after decades of having that, there was other complications that came from medication side effects and stuff. But anyway, so she was never terminal in that the doctor said you have X amount of time to live. So being a Taurus, she was, I'm getting out of here, I'm going home. And this is sad, but like even when I could tell that wasn't going to happen, she was still like super Mrs. Positive.
Hmm.
And you know, maybe she was doing that for us, 4 kids, I don't know. But yeah, so we never got the chance, sadly, to go to a trip. And the hummingbird, I don't know where the hummingbird, I feel like everybody chooses hummingbird when someone dies. And when I looked it up, it talks about how it's like the bee, how it's so unlikely that a bee can fly, but they do. And there's a whole bunch of like mushy stuff about hummingbirds. But anyway, so it's become a thing since she passed. First morning in Mexico, we go sit at the beach and we look up at the sky, all three of us, Michael, Mark, and me, clear as day. You can't tell me that's not a hummingbird. That cloud. We saw a cloud that looked just like a hummingbird. And it was like, oh, I'm getting chills right now thinking about it. And so that was just such a nice, nice feeling.
Yeah, and I think that those things are the way that past loved ones communicate with us. I really do believe in spirits and things like that. And
Oh, me
if
too.
anybody goes on your Instagram, it's a hummingbird in the sky. Like
There's no
there's
way, there's no even other clouds around it.
no, it was just there.
And it's like you can see the details of the wings. You should clip in a little picture of it.
Yeah, when I post this on Instagram, I'll put that in so
Yeah.
that people know. But
But
that's phenomenal. But there was something about lights flickering.
yeah, so that's also on my Instagram. On December 3rd, we had our big family Christmas because my aunt and uncle and extended family, they were going away on a trip too. So anyway, we did it a little bit earlier. And then my siblings and I did something on actual Christmas. Anyway, so we had this big family dinner at my uncle's cottage. I was staying over at my sister's house in Ottawa. We walk in the house and this one lamp that is on the side table where she keeps our mom's urn and Lopez's urn, because she has part of Lopez because she was his auntie, starts flickering like crazy flickering. It's never done it before. It's never done it since. And so it's easy to say, oh, maybe that was just electricity, but why that day? So I believe there's something about energy and like the fact that the whole family was together. It was Christmas dinner. My mom wanted to be there too. And so she was just saying hi or something.
I totally think that's what happens. Yeah, for sure.
I got to send you the video. You'll get chills. Like it's really,
I have chills right now.
yeah. And
Like
it's
I watch Long Island Medium. Like I'm all
oh,
over this stuff. I'm just
my
like,
mom's favorite.
oh
She was
really?
my favorite. Yeah.
Teresa.
But my mom was like, oh, Donna, like she would believe everything. Like she'd almost fall for those Miss Cleo scams in your email.
Mm.
It's like,
Oh,
okay, mom. But like,
have
so I
you
don't know
done a
what to think.
reading? Have you done a
Um,
reading since she's passed?
yeah, I have with Deborah Savoy. She's in Kingston here.
Yeah.
And there was something she got spot on. Like her favorite color was green. And right away she was like, Kate, there's a woman wearing green right next to you. So, and she didn't know me, who I was. She didn't know my name because I had a friend bring me because I didn't want her to be able to Google me.
Right.
So she didn't even know who I was unless she recognized me when I walked in. But there was a lot of things that were pretty spot on. So you know, I don't know what to think. Obviously, spirits and stuff, they're not going to show up like me and you, that where they're not physical. And so, how can we understand it until we're there?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
I love it. Oh, I love that you're into that stuff too.
Yeah, no, I'm kind of like I call myself a very liberal Christian.
Yeah,
I'm all for like, the teachings of being kind to everyone and loving everyone. And I think that, Jesus loved everybody and was very accepting. I mean, he hung around with the people in the streets, the homeless people, the people who, probably the priests and everyone weren't talking to, and he would. And so for
yeah.
me, that's what that is. And I think we have souls. I think there's spirits. I try not to get into it too much because I feel like if I open the door to the nice ones, the naughty ones might try to slip in.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
like I don't
Okay.
want to open myself up because like I got kids at home. I need to be able to sleep. I need like like I don't want
Yeah.
nightmares coming in, or I
I
don't know.
see things like, sorry to interrupt you, but
No,
like,
no,
I
no.
don't know if it's so much ghosts, but I call it like universe lines, or like, I know Bill talks about full circles, right?
Yeah.
Those synchronicities that happen that are undeniable, like the hummingbird in the sky, or, oh gosh, there's so many examples. Like, even within my relationship now with Michael and Mark, we just say we'll put universe in our group chat because something will happen where there'll be like, a blonde girl and a brunette wearing pink and yellow walking to Betty and Veronica. Oh, look there. It's like almost a sign that, you're on the right path. I
Hmm.
used to have a thing with my ex that if we'd go into a store like Walmart and his Britney was Mariah, if Britney or
Okay.
Mariah was playing, we'd be like, we're on the right path. So it's that sort of silly thing, but some of them are just undeniable.
Yeah, and you said I'm on the right path, and I said this to Bill in our interview. For me, those things are like God or the universe saying,
Mm-hmm.
you're exactly at the right place at the right time. And here's a little like, look, see, this is all good. Like
Yeah,
you're on the right path.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And for a long time after my mom died, I went through a really bad breakup just before she died. And so I became kind of an ice queen, as in, like, I'm never going to fall in love again. And that's just how it is. It's okay. I had a 14-year marriage or relationship, basically marriage. And so when I met Michael and Mark, and they've been so kind to me and so supportive, and it's opened my heart in such a new way that I didn't think was possible. And I kind of realized, like, everything happens when it's supposed to. And so you just have to trust the process because there's nothing else you can do.
Exactly. I totally think that too. And if this fell on your lap 10 years ago, maybe you weren't ready to receive
Mm-hmm.
it, right? Like
That's it. And I think that the one thing I would like to say about my thruple, people are like, is it a triad? I'm
couple.
like, ew, that sounds like Star Trek. It's a thruple. Is that it is so much more than sex. And I think that when people see three handsome gay guys, they're like, oh my God, it's a porn movie. It's really not. I mean, sometimes it is, but it's
Yeah.
much more about the companionship and the love and friendship and being there for each other. And so I'm so grateful for them and that I found them and that they get me and, all this crazy hot mess.
I'm glad you cleared that up because based on your Instagram, I was thinking that it was maybe like a sex fest all the time, like rub a dub dub, three men in a tub.
Listen, we are still three men, so it happens. It happens. It's just, it's not the focus, I guess. And
Yeah,
so I know that I perpetuate that because it's fun and I like to, and I
yeah,
get the most likes on those posts. So of course I'm going to, but
yeah,
and they're gorgeous.
yeah. Oh, well, the three of you, I mean, I like guys, and I mean, you're not bad to look at, any of you. I mean, you got the bodies, the
You
looks, and
can
I
say
mean,
it. I know straight girls watch gay porn all the time.
well,
It's a thing.
I, I don't like, I don't watch pornography in general, or ever. Not, I don't know why I said in general. I don't do it, but the idea in my head, sometimes sometimes things
Yeah,
pop up
it's
in my
so funny.
head.
Yeah, because it
I,
wasn't until I worked in radio that I found
my
out that
mom's
was
gonna
like,
be listening to this.
okay, well, never a man. It doesn't even, okay, should we not say the P
No,
word?
no,
But
no.
like,
But I actually don't. But yeah, go.
I
I
know,
don't want
I
to
know.
interrupt.
But
Things
like,
happen.
I didn't believe that women would be interested in that. Like, until my friend Emily, again, same one, it was like, oh yeah, it's a thing. And I was like, it kind of opened my mind to like, what? But it makes sense. I guess you don't want another girl in there sharing the spotlight.
Well, there's a time to every
Yeah. Okay,
season.
next question.
Well, I was just gonna say there was this movie. There was a movie that came out. God, what are their names? She was married to Warren Beatty. Um,
Ooh, you're going
and
back.
Annette Bening and some
Mm,
other actors. They played two lesbian women. Are the kids are gonna be okay or something like?
Carol. Was it Carol? No, older. You're going way back. I don't know.
No, this was like maybe 10 years ago. A movie. They
Carol.
Carol.
I think it's called Carol. Do you want me to Google it right
No,
now?
the movie's called The Kids Are Gonna Be Okay.
Oh, well, then I don't know it. No,
Oh, okay.
I
Oh,
thought it was Carol.
you're talking about, I know that one too.
Yeah,
The one
but
with
it's
Kate
way.
Blanchett.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm talking about a different one.
Okay.
And they were caught in bed together, and they were watching gay porn, these two lesbian women. And I was like, oh, that's weird. And in the movie, they actually were like explaining to whoever caught them, they're like, yeah, like, don't get us wrong, like, we don't like guys, but what it was is that women's sexual arousal is so hidden and
Mm,
our sexual climax is hidden.
mm, mm.
But with men, it's like you can see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there was something about that that's kind of like we want it to be more seen or something.
I can
Like
understand
not
that.
hidden.
Yeah. I
I don't
mean,
know. It was and it's I don't know what it is. I can't articulate it very well, but I
well,
got
it's so
it.
nuanced for everybody, but I think I know what you're saying, and that's like it's an expectation too. I think that's put on women to be ladylike and like don't go there. But which is why I love Britney and the whole 2000 movement of being slutty and like I'm gonna wave my hair and my boobs if I want to.
I don't know if she's I don't know if it's slutty what she does.
Well, not now. I'm
Yeah.
talking
Oh
about like
yeah, I
free
guess
for
back then.
you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, no,
Christina
that
Aguilera,
whole
dirty.
yeah, when Madonna kissed Britney and then that other girl.
Oh my
Um
god, that was awesome.
and
That clip with the guy on the news. Yeah,
then they made like Britney was laughing at it. I don't know if she was actually laughing at it, but yeah,
yeah.
no, that whole sexuality empowers women. I don't completely buy into that, but whatever floats your boat. I mean,
But see, I feel like I'm guilty of it too, though, Amanda, because that's kind of what I do with the gay stereotypes in my comedy. And it's
mhm,
like everyone has a problem. It's like, no, no, I'm deciding to take
mhm,
the F word back or whatever it is.
mhm.
And so I don't know. Everyone just has to kind of manage it in their own way.
Yeah, for sure. To each his own. I'm all for it. I'm here for it. I watch your Instagram and your relationship with your thruple. Thruple's good, right?
Thrupple's the word. Yeah.
Not
That's what we're
ax
going with. Yeah. Or
or
you could say Riverdale.
the
We always
ax
say, well, it's Riverdale. Because
it's
it really is
Riverdale.
like, I can't tell you, the Archie comics, sometimes we will sit down with an Archie comic and it blows our mind. They're talking about the synchronicities. Like Betty will be auditioning for a movie and Veronica will be at the gym. Mark's the big gym bunny. It's like, it's just, well, I could have been Veronica or you could have been Betty. It's like everything fits. It's just really weird.
You guys are just stereotypes
Well, I
completely.
guess so. Somebody called TLC. I want a reality show. Brother husbands.
Seriously though,
Oh yeah, we've
like
talked about it. And now that it's like picking up steam, I'm thinking about it. I should pitch something.
or just start like recording your own little home
Hmm.
videos and you're really good at editing, right? And
Yeah, yeah,
making
that's
things
true.
like put some music and it it could even be more like documentary style and then have it up on YouTube. I mean, I would watch it.
Well, I think I'm more reality show vibe than documentary, but thank you. But
Yeah.
yeah, no, it would because they lived like I'll have to tell you, like I have learned so much about living on a farm. Like, did you know I would go pick up apples that fell from a tree every 2 days when they moved? I had to be on apple duty, and like that's just unheard of. I'm from the city, girl. Like I don't do that, and so I watched them kill a chicken.
Oh.
I've like I know sad, but like come on,
Did they
I
put its
just
head? Did they put its
ah,
head?
don't say it. They upside down. Yes,
Oh. What do they
it's
call
bad.
that? There's a word for it. I didn't know what it was. Somebody was talking about, or they just said they were processing their chickens. I'm like, how do you do that?
Yeah, that's what they say. But like, it's just I never thought that moving to Kingston about 2 years ago now, I would find myself in the middle of the night holding a chihuahua at two military guys' house. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like my greatest fantasy come true.
Well, I remember you saying that you liked military guys.
I
I
do.
tried to hook you up with my military guy friend.
Oh yeah, how's he
Yeah.
doing? I forgot about that.
You're like, I'm always up for finding new friends.
He's cute too. Is he still
Yes.
single?
I
Mm.
don't know. I would imagine. I don't know. He seems to have a hard time.
Oh my God, maybe he needs to go for married men because
Are you guys willing to open up your
Mm,
thruple to a quadruple?
sure. I mean, we've got a Betty, Veronica, and Archie. We don't have a Jughead or a Reggie, so
He's in Petawawa.
oh well then I better watch out.
Yeah.
No, but it's like that's the thing, right? Is like and people that are critical of my throuple say like, well, don't you want your own husband one day? First of all, I don't know. And second of all, I don't have a lineup. We're still open. I could go on dates if I wanted to. Who's calling? Nobody's
So
calling.
so you guys are okay to date other men?
Well, I mean, we haven't crossed that bridge yet because we haven't had to, but theoretically, yeah. I mean, like, that's been part of the coming to terms with it for me is like, well, maybe I would like to own a home with somebody one day. Maybe I would like to be married, and you've already crossed all those bridges. So as much as I love you guys, there's that part I'm never going to be able to penetrate. And they hate when I say that, and I'm probably going to get flack for this, but it's true. And it's like, well, there is that part of me. I don't know what I want truly. And that's why I say
Hmm.
go with the flow. And I do love them very much. And I'm grateful for them. But sometimes I do feel like, yeah, but you have a ring, I don't have a ring.
Yeah.
It's like, and because it's not legal, and they'll say, well, because it's not legal, like, you know,
Yeah.
it's just so weird. I know anybody like cut this whole part out, Amanda. Jesus Christ.
No, I mean I think you guys are just really honest about your relationships. I think there's a whole bunch of wacky stuff going on for people who look normal on the outside, but they're just not saying what it's really like. Like,
Yeah.
I mean,
My whole life, people have told me that I'm really good at associating, like, hey, that person looks like that cartoon character. So I definitely introduced this we're like an Archie comic, but then it's just snowballed. So I always do that with everything.
and you have like posters made up or like somebody does a cartoon of you and your boyfriends.
Oh, well, that was an
What
amazing
is that, like someone
artist.
local or?
No, he's in the UK. His name's Bran Imagination. It's all one word, Bran Imagination. Unbelievable digital artist. And he actually did a picture for Jenna and I, my former co-host in Ottawa. So I
Mhm.
knew from them. And so for our anniversary, I had a little Riverdale poster done up, and I just love it so much. It looks just like us.
And you had one
I'm
done
so
for
skinny.
Monica? Y-
I had one done for Monica too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I saw that. That was
I
really
ordered. I
good.
got a 2 for 1. I got them at the same time.
Shh, we'll keep that. And then did you have to like talk about what your packages would look like in the photo? Because I was like, this one's a little pointier than that one.
Who's not? It better not be mine. Now I gotta go look at it.
I don't know.
I,
Well, I mean, yours is pointier in real life. I mean, I saw that picture of you with the towel, and it's like there's like your body, and then the towel, and then
oh
something.
my god.
That
Yeah.
was, actually wanted to ask you because you are a radio personality, and I imagine your radio show is very PG, and
Mhm.
your Instagram is very like out there and not PG. And I wondered, like, does your boss ever like say, Jesse, like you represent us, you can't do stuff like that, or has there ever been a talk, or maybe you can't say?
No, I can say, and you know what? Here's the main message: sex sells, and they
Okay.
know that.
Oh, okay.
So it's like one of those things. Because if you do look, I know I push the line, but I never. There's no nudity. There's no like anything overtly. On the last TikTok, maybe a little, but that was Mexico. What do you want?
Where you guys are making out, that one?
Yeah, yeah, that one.
I watched it a couple times. I was like,
You're the best.
I like
No, but,
men, and there's another man.
and now a third man.
Yeah, more
But
men.
they no, they've never said anything. And so I'm grateful for that. Because
Yeah.
when I lost my job in Ottawa at Jump, I did the morning show there. Then I got fired because we were replaced by an American show. That's the way the
Right.
business is going. You always think it's personal. So it wasn't 3 or 4 years later that they called me to do this show in Kingston, and it validated that, oh my God, I was not the problem. And so that they valued I had a brand, something that I could bring to the table. And that's part of me. So, I like to be a little saucy, but I can also be very wholesome and authentic too. And I'm a Libra, so I have a little bit of all of you.
You're the scales, the
Yeah, you got a
balance.
little of everybody.
No, that's good because I hear you on the radio and I'm like, oh, is it hard for it not to slip out sometimes? Because like sometimes I can see these opportunities coming up where you could probably
Mm-hmm.
like take it and run, and you like choose like
Yeah.
which wolf are you feeding today? You're always like feeding the good one. It was like, oh, he's being a
Well,
good boy. You could take that and run.
let me tell you, it would be different if we were at the comedy club in the middle of the night. So there's the difference. And we have something in radio we call the mommy filter, which
Oh,
you could appreciate if you listen with your kids, is that sometimes Monica and I will talk about things that you know what we're saying, but the
yeah.
girls don't know what we're saying.
Yeah, exactly. I love that.
And we try hard to do that because it's also funnier. I think it's not as funny when someone just comes out and is like, oh, boobs and vagina. It's like, no,
Yeah.
just hint at it and then it's funnier.
Oh, totally. Coming up with words for things. I do it on social media all the time. Like we're on Facebook. I'm in these moms groups, which are crazy. Oh my God. And like I'll be like, somebody's got an extra yeasty lady biscuit. Does anybody have any girls? Like, like you to come up with different words and it makes it funnier.
Yeah.
I,
And it's disarming and it makes people comfortable and it makes you relatable, I think. That's what
yeah,
comedy does. It's like music, it's a unifier.
exactly. It brings
Kumbaya,
people.
Amanda.
We are, well, not we, but you are doing the world a service here. You're bringing people smiles. When people, I heard this quote recently, and I think it's so true, and it's what you do every day, is when somebody's laughing, they're not worried about their problems in that moment. Like it's like a one-way street where only one thing can happen. It's like when you're laughing, all of the rest of it's gone and you're just feeling good. And I love that. Like I love making people laugh too. I'm a bit of a comedian in my family, but
Yeah.
but you know how good it feels.
Well, I do, and I feel like now this has been such a serious interview. But like, you're right. It's like Joan Rivers had a quote, and she said, "When you make somebody laugh, you give them a mini vacation from life, even
Right.
if it's just a little laugh." And I love that because that's all I want to do, and it makes me feel good, and it feeds my passion and my ego when someone laughs at me, and I know that I'm giving you a little break from the horror that is the world right now. So
Yeah, there's this
that's
there's this collective grief that's going on and it's just completely unfathomable. It's just like,
I
oh
know.
my God. And you really just have to like, okay, what do I have to do today? I have to get up, I have these things I have to do, and then if you can have a laugh in it, just that's what we
Yeah.
need right now. It's just like the
I
art.
appreciate that. And I love that you said that because some critics of what I do paint me as vapid or like that I don't care about what's going on in the Middle East or whatever. But it's like, no, I have to stay focused in my lane so that I can do what I do because you don't want Monica and Jesse to get on air and talk about how horrible everything is because that's not why you listen to us. And so, yeah, I appreciate that you said that.
Yeah, we need distractions. We need to
Yeah,
remember,
escape
yeah, escape for sure.
in a healthy
Um,
way that's not drinking wine.
is that
Although
what's
there's
in
a
your
ton
glass?
of
Is that what's in your glass? Because
no,
I,
it's a wine glass, but it's not actually not yet. I mean, what time's oh I guess I could start now.
oh yeah, it's like in between Christmas and New Year's. It's sort of like
What
whatever.
day is it? I know. No.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm so over it. I'm ready for my kids to go to school. I'm dying.
Oh my gosh, today on the show we were talking about temper tantrums. Apparently through the holidays kids have more temper tantrums,
Yeah.
but the stupidest things too, like one kid wouldn't get off the couch because he thought the carpet was a monster. And I'm like, if that was my kid, I don't
Yeah.
even know. Probably wouldn't be here.
I think it's because it's so stressful. Like it's all supposed to be fun and good, but their little bodies just perceive it as stress. Like it's
Yeah,
like it's a lot of different things. It's a lot
hard.
of different routines, and then all these gifts, and then you're kind of like, so I get it. I mean, it's
And the
hard on everyone.
energy. Listen, kids are smart. I used to be a lifeguard and teach kids how to swim. I know it's hard to believe, but I
No,
appreciate children in that they're smarter than adults give them credit for, and they can feel our energy. And so they know that things are not right in the world right now, and they pick up on that.
yeah, and they're very honest. I love it. My kids are
Mhm.
hilarious.
They
They're the
are. They're
best thing.
adorable too. They're
Thank
pretty.
you. They take after their
Which
mommy.
they do. They look like you. And I love, by the way, I just have to say that you let whichever one likes Halloween wear her little costume around the store. Because I knew
Thank you.
somebody once that her daughter wanted to dress as a witch and go
Yeah.
to Walmart or something, and she wouldn't let her. And I was like,
Oh.
I got angry. I'm like, why not? She's 8 years old.
Oh.
Let her be a witch.
Yeah, I'm the very easygoing. If they want to dress up as whatever, if they want to wear a little makeup every now and then, they're free to express themselves, dress
Yeah,
weird for school. I like to encourage their creative,
good for you.
energies. Thank you, thank you.
Now, if one of them comes and wants to dress as Christina Aguilera, we're gonna have a conversation. However, we'll cross that bridge.
Yeah. Yeah. Do
Okay, this is where
twirling.
we end. This is where we end the interview.
Well, we got 1 minute left. But yes, no, thank you again. I mean, I'm so glad that you came to talk to me. I wasn't sure. I remember like, oh, I wonder because you're so popular and you have a huge following. Everybody must want to talk to you on podcasts. And then I'm like this little mummy
Oh my God, a fabulous mommy, a fierce mommy. But I feel like, we could talk all day
Yeah.
about anything. And so I feel like we bounced around a lot. So
Yeah.
you'll have to have me back sometime.
Yeah. Yeah. Or we'll do it in real life.
Yeah, with wine.
I never get out. This mommy needs to get out. But thank you so much for joining me. You're such a
Are you
sweetheart.
okay? Is this like a Britney Spears situation? Is that what you're saying? Or
I'm gonna wink. Come save me.
You're funny.
Okay. Well,
Thanks for having me.
Okay, well, you take care.